two nuggets of information that I've shared with you thus far that you feel has made a difference in your life or has taken a little bit of the fear away from these things called multi-unit assets? Anybody?
Yeah. By far, it was the slides you showed with all the cities and looking at the plan. By far,
Awesome. That's only one, and that's only one little itty bitty, teeny tiny piece. Very, very good. Anybody else?
It's a lot of work.
It does take a lot of work. Anybody here have a job?
That's a lot of work.
All right, hold your hands up. Who has a job? What do you do?
Systems administrator.
Systems administrator. Do you put in a lot of hours? Lots of hours. How many hours a week? Do you ever work late?
Yeah,
Do you get paid for overtime?
No.
No.
Large part of my job is research and testing.
Research. Wait, isn't that what we do? Research? But you're doing it for someone else, and you're not getting paid to do it. Do you do a lot of work? It's no different. Is it a lot of work? Yes. But this is, I don't like the word job, but if you would, this is my job. To analyze assets, manage the managers, find value adds, reposition it. That's my job, right? Because the more I invest in this asset, in my job, I get to make deposits into my retirement account, do I not? Because I'm creating value, because I'm raising the cash flow, upping the occupancy, reducing the vacancy. It is no different than a systems engineer. It is no different than, Renville, what do you do? Research associate as well, for MetaMune. Oh, my goodness, biotech, right? Do you have to put fuel in your vehicle and then get on the beltway and be at work by a certain time every single day? You do. What time do you have to be there? 6:30 in the morning. At 6:30 in the morning, I'm usually still in my pajamas down in my family room with a cup of coffee in my hand on LoopNet analyzing properties or talking to my manager about what we're going to do for the day. Sometimes, if I'm really, really busy, I may not leave my house for a couple days at all because I'm so busy doing that kind of work. That's what I'm talking about in time. So people say, oh my gosh, but Tammy, it's so much work. Well, it's no different. And I'm just choosing a different route, a different strategy, whatever it is. The sacrifice that I talk about, 5 years, remember 5-5-5 or 5-10-5, the sacrifice for 5 years is that you've got to have an end in mind. There's got to be light at the end of the tunnel. You've got to be able to have an ability to celebrate the small successes. Because if you're still working and going in at 6:30 in the morning in the dark, this time of the year you're probably going home in the dark, yep. Right? So you go to work in the dark, you come home in the dark, and then when you get home, because you probably can't do a lot of research on real estate, and I get this, it's real world, you are sacrificing more than someone who is a full-time investor right now, right? But if you know that it's short-lived, it's 5 years of your life to buy 1, 2 to 5 to 10 unit property a year, do you think you honestly could sacrifice that period in your life, knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel, to leave your job to have financial freedom? You do it in Harvey, wouldn't you? And that sacrifice is what you need to define. Because to do what I do day in and day out is truly exhausting. It is. And you also have to stop along the way and celebrate the little successes, milestones, and achievements that you've created. Whether you go out to dinner, whatever it is, This business isn't easy. Like I said earlier, if it was that easy, then everybody would be doing it. But you've got to take action. You've got to take action, and you just have to keep saying, as I say, all right, this is done. What's the next step? This is done. What's the next step? Because if you look at this whole business as a whole, it can be overwhelming. Whether it's a single-family rehab or a 10-unit apartment building, it could be overwhelming. That in and of itself can shut people down. Fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. Fear of whatever. But if you just say, okay, I've got this done. Now, what is my next step? What is my next step? What do I need to do to get one step closer? Before you know it, you've got everything done. So, it can be done. You can do it, but it's up to you to turn it around. All I say is know that it can be done in 5 years. Sacrifice. Put your goals in writing. Make them achievable. Don't set yourself up for failure. I have students and I've had people that say, oh, Tammy, can you look at this $15 million apartment complex? It's my first acquisition. I only need $5 million down as a down payment. I got to close in 60 days, but I only need one. Is that realistic? No. You're setting yourself up for failure. And as human beings, there's nothing worse than failing. But if you fail forward and you can pick yourself up. So set small milestones. Find the duplexes, the triplexes, the quads, the 5 units. Maybe one that you could actually live in and do an FHA 203K. What is so bad with doing that, having your acquisition and your rehab costs carried? Anybody have any idea what the down payment is on an FHA product? 3.5%. Compared to 20, 25, 30, 35%. And then you live in it for a year, year and a half, 2 years, short-lived because you're sacrificing, and then you move on. You've started building that portfolio. Guys, it's very doable, and there's so many ways it can be done. All right. IRV, Earth. V equals I divided by R. This is commercial multi-unit investing. That's it. There's no secrets. All you need is 2 of those numbers to get the third. So if you know that the property is for sale, that is called the sales price or value, same thing, or the asking price. The return on the investment, who can tell me what that would be? Cap rate, percentage of the return. The income is the net operating income, or NOI, not the gross income. Net operating income. And that V is for value. All right, let's break this down. These are 2 of my properties. These are actual numbers. These are big ones. But let me show them with you. Share them with you. All right, there's the apartment building, 18 units. How many units did I say was occupied? 9. And I said 9 more were vacant, right? So if I have the gross income of $216,000, is that actual income or pro forma? Pro forma, because 9 units is bringing in $9,500 a month, which is $109,000 a year. Okay, so if someone were to give you this information and they say to you the gross income on this property is $216,000, you go, oh my gosh, wow, that's really awesome. What's your next question going to be to that broker or that seller? Is this actual or pro forma? Do we buy based on actual numbers or pro forma? Actual, thank you. You can analyze on pro forma. I prefer you to analyze on actual. If you buy a property based on what it could be or what someone else thinks it's projected to be, it can take you down. Do not ever, ever, ever buy a property based on projections. Brokers and sellers will sell you all day long on pro forma. Well, this is what you can get if it's 100% occupied. I don't want to know what I can get. I'll figure that out. I want to know what you got for the past 2 years. So I want 2 years of actual income and expenses and 2 years of rent roll. I can tell you the expenses are probably going to be about $84,600 with a net operating income of 131. To keep it simple, at a 10 cap, what does that put the value of the property at? 1.3 million. Okay? If I raise the rents by year 3, I could have it up to 186, and by year 5, 298,000. That's just for 18 units. That is 6 buildings, 6 row houses all attached. 4 units here, 1 unit here, 5 units here. No, 4 units here, 5 units. 1 unit, 1 unit, 5 units, and 2 units. So I really have a duplex, 2 singles, 2 5 units, and 1 4 unit. Is that not what we've been talking about all day? And guess what? They all have individual tax IDs. I could sell each one of those off individually. So it's a total of 18 units. That's how it was sold. But really, that's what I've got. I've got a duplex, 5 unit, another 5 unit, 4 unit, 2 singles. And guys, that one building alone, right there, if I chose to get it fully occupied, I could carry that thing for the rest of my life, live comfortably,